today we're officially going to start working on these doll houses of ours. And I also want to kind of give you a theory I sort of came up with. So we're going to dive into a little bit of history before we begin. So I've kind of come up with my own theory about G&J Lines, Trang Dollhouses, and Line Brothers. So I'm going to start off with the story of Hamleys. So Hamleys began in Cornwall, England, with a man called William Hamley. He dreamed of opening up his own toy store, and in the year 1760, that's exactly what he did, without knowing that someday it would become one of the world's most renowned toy stores, that's for sure. His original store name was Noah's Ark, and by 1867, Hamleys was a well-known landmark, with families including royalty shopping within the famous Joy Emporium. The store was so successful that in 1881, a new branch opened in Regent Street with 5 floors of toys. Can you imagine? And in the late 1920s, Hamleys was owned and operated by the Hamley family descendants of the late William Hamley. But the store faced hard times in the 1920s like many others. The store was forced to close its doors in 1931. I always knew that there was a connection with the Lines family, but I wasn't really sure how it worked. So Walter Lines, chairman of Trang, and one of the 3 brothers who owned Trang, stepped up and purchased Hamleys. He worked hard to bring back all the customers, and in 1938, Queen Mary gave Hamleys the royal warrant. During World War II, Hamleys was bombed 5 times, and the staff still came to work every day wearing metal hats, if you can believe it. They would rush in and out of the store, delivering toys and handing them out at the door. In 1955, Queen Elizabeth gave Hamleys a second royal warrant. It is said that Queen Elizabeth had fond memories of Hamleys as a child and passed down many of her Hamley toys to her own children and subsequent grandchildren. Walter Lines of Trang successfully ran Hamleys until 1982, when it was sold off to a department store chain, and it has since been sold, I believe, 5 times. Hamleys is listed in the Guinness Book of Records as the world's oldest toy store. It's been at its current location on Regent Street in London's West End since 1881, where it remains to this day. Now on to my theory. So my theory about Lines, Trang, and G&J Lines. So a famous department store called Gamage's started life in 1878, and it was particularly known for their toy and hardware department. Of course, Gamage's would have been in direct competition with Hamley's toy store because they were really well known for their toy department. So it is my strong belief that the Lines family had a very, very close relationship with the Hamleys. So therefore, in order for Gamage's to purchase their products, they wanted something that would be unique and different. Hence this G&J Lines Dollhouse number 37 that I'm working with Kevin on Cross Atlantic. The Gamage's version that my friend Kevin is working on is completely different, like the style of the outside of the house, from the house that I'm doing. And I believe that the Lines family were very smart about this. So they had to make something unique enough for Gamage's to carry their lines. So I think that's kind of why there is a difference between regular G&J Lines houses and the ones that were sold at Gamages. Knowing this connection with Hamleys, I wonder how many of you agree that this would be kind of close to being accurate.
Good morning, my name is Kevin Taylor. I'm speaking to you from Bewdley in Worcestershire in England, and I'm in collaboration with Lisa in Edmonton, Canada, and we are both restoring lines number 37s, one here and one with Lisa, and we're going to see what we can make of them, hopefully a good one. Now this 37 has had the windows removed when I purchased it, excepting for the square one at the top, which I will remove shortly, and the door is detached, and so all these things will have to be repaired as we go along. So the first thing I will do is to actually remove the front panel, the front door altogether, and we need to do that because that needs to be worked on separately, and I like to keep all of the little bits and pieces in a jar or somewhere safe. It's imperative to do so because without that everything gets lost. Now, somebody has pointed out in the past, these gratings are basically thermometer bulb protectors. So if you could think of your normal thermometer, there's always that little bit of brass on the bottom that protects the bulbs from being broken, and for any that have ones missing, it absolutely 100% lends itself to being replaced that way. Also, we can see that it looks like there's just a little hint of green poking through this red paint. I mean, normally they would have green bases. It was something that Lisa noticed from her end in Canada, obviously possibly enhanced by the camera. So that needs to be stripped straight off, which we'll be doing. One of the first jobs of all really is to strip all this. Now, turning the doll's house up on end, you can see clearly the number 37. Now, I haven't come across this previous. I mean, normally these dolls houses, they're catalogued, but they have so many close versions it's difficult to determine exactly what's what. But in this case we had an idea it was 37, and there it is, clear as day. So I need to start by deciding what paint to remove. I think definitely the base, it needs to be green. I mean, it may be that it could be primed and then repainted green, it's a possibility. The actual roof will need papering, so really only needs flatting, I believe. I think the finish is good enough as such. A lot of these windows were glued on at some point during its life, probably with a heat gun, I would imagine, heat glue. So I will have to remove that, so hopefully that can be removed without doing too much damage to the texture finish, which I think I'm basically going to just paint to get the right colour all round. I think this is going to work like that basically. Now, when it comes to the front door, the front panel, that's a whole different story, because this black definitely doesn't want to be there and it's too bitty and unlevel to put the top coat to in any way. We get some sort of hint on the original colour, which is the normal lines, white or cream, whichever way you like to look at it. So, welcome to part 2 of this 37 lines 37 build or rebuild. You can see I've severely sanded it where necessary. There was quite a few bits that need repairing, which will be in the next stage, but we can clearly see the original green of the base now coming through, but progress is being made. So here we are on another part of part 2. On looking at this red area, I think it's painted straight, probably on top of wallpaper. Not too sure, but it looks like it's bubbling that way. So on stripping shortly, we'll see. Removed the both hinges completely now off the side and put them away safely. So it's now time to begin stripping. So removing this red and this black, particularly off the stucco area, is going to be the most challenging part of this build actually, and I'll be coming to that last. Now, the rear side of the door is black as well. I mean, that would be papered, so I'll make a decision. It possibly needs to be painted around the window areas. Well, to my absolute amazement, and I hope you can all see this, but as I start to gently remove the paint, which is no mean feat because it's gloss red, you can clearly see the original wallpaper underneath, and you can clearly see where the window was removed at one stage. Underneath was the sun damaged, UV damaged original wallpaper, so that's what we put back on. I like to reflect for an hour or two after I've got to this stage, and then make another decision on where to go forward. We can clearly see now with the bricks coming out, and counting that as red if you will, because they are quite red, basically what this house should look like. The roof would be paper in red also. So well folks, I've decided that this is time to draw a line under it for today. I've had a good, basically part 1 and part 2. There might be a chance that I can save these original wallpapers, as crazy as it might seem, on this bottom half. So I made the decision that I will cover them up as best as I can and come to that bit last.
Well, it's now on to the task of getting rid of all the yucky paint on mine. And it really is a mess. You can see like there's absolutely no way that it could be filled or fixed in any way. It definitely has to come off. So I got some paint remover, paint and varnish stripper. Unfortunately, it isn't the circa 1850 that I love to use, and so it did take 5 times before I actually got all of the paint off of this. And it's nice because it's a nice day outside, and I don't mind doing it outdoors. Can't do it in the house because I have parrots and this stuff is pretty toxic and smells pretty awful. So yeah, so I'm just like painting it on, and I should have put it on a little bit thicker. The very last coat that I do, I actually go for it like really super thick. It says that it can remove up to 5 layers in 5 minutes, but yeah, it just didn't work that way. And you can see the sponge is already melting from the stuff. But I didn't want to use any of my good paintbrushes because I don't want to destroy them. So, so as you can see how different my house is from the house that Kevin was showing you. His house has stucco on the sides of it and stucco on the top layer. And then his house had the brick paper on the bottom layer. Now, I think that mine would have also have had brick paper on the bottom layer, but mine would have also have had brick paper on the sides of the dollhouse, where the sides of his dollhouse are indeed stuccoed. So that is the difference between what would have been sold at Gamages. So I think in the next video I'll have Kevin pipe in and give us his opinion of the differences between our houses. So I think that's how the Lines family were able to sell their products to both competing major toy stores in the UK. So with both Gamages as well as Hamleys selling dollhouses, they did not want their houses to look the same. And you can understand that. So yeah, as you can see, I'm just painting this on, and it takes at least a minimum of 20 minutes for it to soak in enough. And here I am. I've done 4 coats of it at this point, and as you can see, there's still quite a bit of paint was on it. So this is number 5. So I'm just basically I've got these little scrapers. They're not very sharp, but they do the job well. And I'm just trying my very best to get it all off of there. Now this is my little secret weapon for being able to do these little spindles. I've just got some steel wool, and I'm just kind of put it between the spindles, and then I'm rubbing the back and the front of it with the steel wool. And that is the best way to do it. I don't want to remove this porch or remove any of the pieces off of the front of the house. I just simply want to get rid of all of the paint. So after I'm finished as much as I can possibly do on it, then I will go back in with like a dental tool and get all the little fine parts cleaned right out. So my goal is when I paint this for it to look perfectly smooth, or as smooth as I can possibly get it. So I just don't want it to have lumpy paint bits anywhere. So, and this really did take me quite a long time. I know that my friend in the UK is a lot faster at this than what I am, but he's also got plenty of experience, stripping like lots and lots and lots of radios, and of course he also does the vintage jukeboxes, so he's got lots and lots of experience. For me, I've stripped probably about 10 pieces of furniture over the years, and that's pretty much it. So and I want to be really, really super careful too that I don't do anything to damage the house. So I just want to remove all these layers of paint. And I would estimate that this house, including its original layer of paint, had 3 coats on it. So it had been painted 3 times previously. So including the original coat of paint. So yeah, so I'm just like cleaning it up as best as I can. And I have to tell you, steel wool is your friend when it comes to this. It just really, really works well, like just really fantastic, especially for the little curved bits, like the little round posts that are on the front of the house. So I can't begin to tell you how much this stuff stinks, though. It really has a foul odor. So it's something you definitely want to do in a well-ventilated area. And if, like me, you have birds in the house, probably not in the house at all. That's probably the best bet, because, yeah, it's pretty stinky. But you see here, now I'm right down to the bare wood, so I barely got any paint on it now. I guess the whole way to do this is just take your time and go at it really super slowly. So yeah, there's a fair amount of time invested in doing this if you want to do it right. So those little brown bits at the top there that are in the top and the bottom of the poles, I guess, on the front of the house, they were particularly a pain in the butt to get totally clean. And I definitely am going to have to get after them with a dental tool. So now I'm neutralizing the stripper by using paint thinner. That's what it said on the bottle to do. So I'm just going over it with paint thinner to neutralize it. And of course, paint thinner has its own special aroma as well. So we're outside on the on the drive pad actually doing this, and you can see 2 sets of hands. The blue set of hands is my friend Leslie, who was kind enough to help me with this little project. So she's just the best, and she is the best furniture restorer that I know. She does some pretty lovely stuff. So I'm actually at the pottery studio doing this. Our pottery studio is also a make it space, and we have a woodworking shop there as well, and a metal shop, and all kinds of stuff going on there. So it's nice to have an extra set of helping hands, that's for sure. So as you can see, it's getting pretty clean, and we're just kind of trying to get some of the last minute little pieces off of it, and it will require a final sanding after all said and done, that's for sure. So and my lovely paint colored giant shirt that I'm wearing, so whenever I'm doing an extremely dirty job, this shirt comes out of the drawer. I think I've had it for about 30 years, and it is one ugly shirt, let me tell you. So yeah, you can see it's like pretty much down to the nitty-gritty now. So it's just the little tiny spots, and she's all done. So now I have to decide if I should put brick paper on the bottom layer of the front of this house or not. Definitely the brick paper has to go on the sides of my dollhouse. I know that for sure. I can see that there is the original backs of the paper still there, but I have to decide yet whether or not I should put it on the bottom half of the front of my house, which will make it look much more similar to Kevin's house. If you enjoyed today's video and would like to help support my channel, you can do so by buying me a coffee. Just go to www.buymeacoffee.com/Lisa I'd like to thank my friend Kevin Taylor for his input and agreeing to do this cross-Atlantic journey with me. This is just so much fun. I can't believe it. And I'd like to thank everyone that has gone to buymeacoffee.com and bought me a coffee, because it really does help my channel stay afloat. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please consider subscribing. It's free and it really does help my channel grow. Please hit that notification bell and leave some comments below, because I just love to read them. Thanks for putting up with my history class. I just love that part of doing videos like that on the history and digging out information. I just find that like so fascinating. Well, once again, everyone, have the best day ever, and we will be doing some follow-up videos to show you the progress on both of these lovely G&J Lines number 37s.